There are seasons that stand out, and then there are seasons that rewrite the record books entirely. In 2025, Napheesa Collier of the Minnesota Lynx did the latter. From the opening tip-off of the regular season to the final buzzer, the 28-year-old forward put together a campaign so statistically rare, so relentlessly efficient, and so thoroughly dominant that it has forced an uncomfortable conversation across the entire landscape of women's basketball. How does a player this good not win MVP? That question has no simple answer. What does have a very clear answer, however, is what Collier accomplished this season and why it demands the highest individual recognition the WNBA has to offer. To truly understand the magnitude of what Napheesa Collier accomplished in 2025, you have to understand where she came from to get here. The previous season ended in one of the most painful and controversial ways imaginable, a WNBA Finals loss that left Collier and the Minnesota Lynx agonizingly close to a championship, yet walking away with nothing but questions and a deep, burning hunger for redemption. After a disappointing finish to the previous season, Collier returned sharper, steadier, and on most nights, simply unguardable. She channeled that postseason heartbreak into something rare in professional sports, a complete, focused, front-to-back reinvention of her already formidable game. The result was not just the best season of her career, but one of the most statistically significant individual campaigns in the history of the league. Pro Football Network Collier put up career highs in points, blocks, free throws, and field goal percentage, producing not just the best season of her career, but one of the best seasons in WNBA history. That distinction is not hyperbole. It is mathematical fact. Pro Football Network. The numbers that changed everything statistics in professional basketball can be deceptive. Volume scores can inflate their averages on poor shooting. High-efficiency players can hide behind limited usage. True greatness, and the kind that reshapes how a sport thinks about its own ceiling, requires both. Napheesa Collier delivered both in 2025 at a level no one in this league has ever managed simultaneously. When the dust settled, Collier averaged an eye-popping 22.9 points and 7.3 rebounds per game while shooting 53.1% from the field, 40.3% from three-point range, and 90.6% from the free throw line. For the casual observer, those are simply impressive numbers. For anyone who understands basketball deeply, they represent something extraordinary. Pro Football Network. Those three shooting percentages, 50 plus from the field, 40 plus from three, and 90 plus from the free throw line, constitute what is known in basketball as the 50-40-90 club. It is among the most exclusive statistical achievements in the sport, a mark that requires not only elite skill but remarkable consistency maintained over the course of an entire season. Collier joins Elena Delle Donne, 2019, as the only WNBA players to have ever achieved such a season. ESPN. But Collier did not simply join Delle Donne in that exclusive club. She expanded it. She is the first player to reach the 50-40-90 club while averaging at least 20 points per game. That distinction is critical. Delle Donne's historic achievement, as remarkable as it was, came with a different scoring load. Collier carried a volume that no player has ever maintained while simultaneously shooting at these percentages. The combination of production and efficiency she achieved in 2025 is statistically unprecedented in WNBA history. Pro Football Network. Her final averages of 22.9 points, 7.3 rebounds, 3.2 assists, 1.6 steals, and 1.5 blocks showcase her efficiency and all-around dominance. That final line is the work of not just a scorer or a rebounder, but a complete basketball player, one who impacts every phase of the game simultaneously. ESPN. The team argument, best player on the best team. The MVP award has always carried an implicit team component. Individual brilliance does not exist in a vacuum, and the degree to which a player elevates those around her, and the results her team achieves because of it, has long been a factor in MVP deliberations. On this front, Collier's case is equally ironclad. Combine this with the fact that she is the best player for a Lynx squad that won 34 games to produce the best record in the league, and it is easy to see why Collier has been receiving MVP chants since opening night. The Lynx's 34-10 regular season record was not merely impressive, it was historic in its own right. This accomplishment ties the 2023 Las Vegas Aces for the most wins in a single WNBA season, achieved just 1 year after Minnesota's loss in the WNBA Finals. Pro Football Network. The Lynx finished first in both offensive rating, 109.5, and defensive rating, 97.5. To lead the league in both offensive and defensive efficiency simultaneously is an exceptional team achievement, and Collier was the centerpiece of both systems. Her teammates understood as much. Napheesa Collier said of Collier, "She's the GOAT. Without her, we are not the Minnesota Lynx." Bleacher Report, ESPN. The two-way dominance. That separates her. One of the most convincing and often underappreciated dimensions of Collier's 2025 season is that her dominance was not limited to the offensive end. In an era where offensive statistical landmarks tend to drive MVP narratives, Collier distinguished herself as a genuinely elite two-way player whose defensive contributions added a separate layer of value to everything she produced with the ball in her hands. Collier finished in the top tier for both steals, 1.6, and blocks, 1.5 per game, toggling between wing assignments and backline help defense without sacrificing her offensive usage, the ability to maintain elite defensive production across multiple assignments, guarding perimeter players on one possession and protecting the paint on the next, while simultaneously carrying a 22-plus point scoring average, is a combination that simply does not exist anywhere else in the WNBA. It is the hallmark of a truly complete basketball player, and it is exactly the kind of total game impact that MVP awards are designed to recognize. Pro Football Network, the coach's perspective. A preseason goal. Achieved, perhaps the most revealing detail of Collier's 2025 season is that the historic outcome was not accidental. It was planned. Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeve revealed that the 50-40-90 season was a goal that was set when she sat down with Collier during the preseason, knowing that it had only been done once before and that achieving it would be a historic milestone. The next. That goal setting speaks to Collier's mindset, her discipline, and her absolute commitment to excellence. Knowing that the target was a preseason ambition rather than a statistical milestone, Collier stumbled upon late in the season makes the achievement all the more deliberate and all the more impressive. Reeves' post-game comments after the Lynx's regular season finale left no ambiguity about where she stands on the MVP debate. Reeves stated, "It's from start to finish. A 50-40-90 is historic. Don't know how long it will be before it happens again. Napheesa Collier has been the best player in the WNBA this season and deserves MVP." And Reeve referenced a precedent that voters would do well to keep in mind. It has only been done once before, and that player, Elena Delle Donne, was the MVP in the year she achieved it. Sports Illustrated Pro Football Network. The Wilson Factor, a legitimate counterargument. Intellectual honesty requires acknowledging the full picture of the 2025 MVP race, and that picture includes A'ja Wilson. The three-time MVP and Las Vegas Aces superstar mounted a genuinely compelling case of her own. and the debate between the two players became one of the most gripping storylines of the entire WNBA season. Wilson's stock surged as the Aces closed the regular season on a 16-game winning streak. During that run, she averaged 26.1 points, 12 rebounds, 1.6 steals, and 2.3 blocks. Las Vegas had a plus 21.3 net rating when Wilson was on the court over those final 16 games. The late season surge was undeniable, and it closed what had been a comfortable gap between the two players in MVP polling significantly. Bleacher Report Collier also missed 11 games through injury, which equaled a quarter of the season. Games missed that would have made her ineligible for MVP consideration entirely under the NBA's minimum games threshold. That context matters. It is a legitimate point of consideration, and it is one reason the race narrowed as dramatically as it did. Bleacher Report, Candace Parker, speaking on her podcast, acknowledged Collier's incredible season, but ultimately gave her preference to Wilson, citing Wilson's combination of dominance, durability, and late-season surge. The debate genuinely had credible voices on both sides. News break. And yet, when the full body of work is weighed, the historical achievement of the 50-40-90 season at 20-plus points per game, the wire-to-wire excellence of the league's best team, and the elite two-way production across every game she played, the argument for Collier is not just compelling, it is historic. A season that deserved its recognition. Multiple outlets framed the MVP race as a true coin flip, with the debate centered on the best player versus the player with the best and most efficient season. That framing, while understandable, may be a false binary. Collier's combination of volume and efficiency is what made her season singular. Her versatile shot profile and consistent timeliness kept the Lynx organized whenever games got tight, making her the engine behind the league's best record. Newsbreak Pro Football Network. The 50-40-90 season at 20-plus points per game is not just an entry in a statistical almanac. It is a declaration that a player has reached a level of efficiency and production that the sport has genuinely never seen before. Ultimately, no matter how people score it, Collier delivered something the league has not seen before at this level. If awards are about capturing the essence of a single season, her numbers tell a clean story. News break. Napheesa Collier entered the 2025 season with something to prove. She leaves it having proven everything. Whether the MVP trophy follows is ultimately up to the voters. But no one who watched her play this year should need convincing about what she accomplished. Her place in WNBA history is already written. The numbers, as her coach so plainly put it, don't lie.